Hi, I'm Kristen Tyler, one of the co-founders at LawClerk, and I'm a practicing attorney. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to join me to go through our demo tool to learn a little bit more about what is LawClerk. In a nutshell, LawClerk is a fantastic service that helps busy attorneys like you connect with other attorneys who want to do work on a freelance basis to get more work done. Our solution can help firms of all shapes and sizes, all practice areas, and it can really be a solution to get the help you need without increasing your overhead. Thanks again for taking time to go through this demo, and let's get going.
In order to update your profile with LawClerk, you're going to first log in into your LawClerk account. So as you log in, you're going to first see a number of announcements that might be available for you to take a look at, such as our recent payment processing change here. But you're going to be able to see your dashboard. Now, your dashboard allows you to manage all of the work that you start doing on the platform, whether you're working with an hourly associate or hire someone part-time, whatever it is that you begin doing, you can see all of that work within your dashboard. Now, the first thing we're going to go to, if it's your first time logging in to lawclerk.legal, you're going to be able to complete your profile. So there's usually a pop-up. Now, since I've logged in more recently on our test account here, instead, I'm going to go to finish completing your profile. Now, updating the profile is important as a hiring attorney because you want the associates to know who they're going to be working with, whether it's your firm, with you directly, or another point of contact within your firm. You want to make sure that they have all of that information from the get-go. Not only that, we use this information to match you to associates on the platform. So once you log in, you'll be able to go in and update your primary practice area. So if you're ever changing areas within your firm, you want to make sure that this is accurate. But again, this is what we're going to use to help match you to different talent on the platform. Now you can update your firm address, all of the above information here, but the other most critical areas to make sure that you update is your telephone number. This is going to be where your freelance associate can reach out to you or a member of your team as you begin working together. Now, it's not required that you upload a resume. I'm going to say it's safe to refrain from doing that when you're a hiring attorney on this site. But one of the other areas that's going to help you stand out and allow the freelance associates to see who they're working with is updating a professional bio. So any key things that you've done that are worth mentioning. You spend a lot of time working with your clients and building up your work history, and this is where we want you to showcase it. Now, further down, another area that helps to, again, attract talent to your postings is to upload a photo. Make sure it's a lovely headshot. As you can see, I have a test headshot here, but it is going to be something that, again, helps to show your professionalism and really entice associates to work with you and set you off on a good note. Once they know who they're working with, it's usually helpful to have that conversation and build that further relationship as you start working together. Now, once I'm all done with my changes, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And there you go. Your LawClerk profile is ready for use. To hire an hourly associate on the LawClerk platform, you're going to begin by logging into your dashboard on lawclerk.legal. I've already done that in this case. So as you can see, this is my dashboard, which contains all of the previous postings that I've had or associates that I've hired through this test account. But to go ahead and begin the process, you're going to go to Start New Work. Now, as you start posting different things, you can also manage that by these different tabs here. But again, I'm just going to start with hiring someone for my firm. When you hire someone with LawClerk through the hourly associate option, it's going to be a really flexible option that allows you to work with associates as you see fit. You're going to pay them by the hour, and you're going to be able to delegate work to them and always have that person on hand. It is really flexible, and ideally it is something that you're working with someone on for anywhere from 3 to 6 months, sometimes longer, sometimes less, depending on the amount of work that you need done. We see most of our attorneys gravitating towards this option because they want to have someone on hand and build a long-term relationship, whether they have a ton of work they can hand off or not. So this has been the option that we've seen become most popular since launching it early in 2023. Now, I'm going to go ahead and select Hire an Hourly Associate and create a new opportunity since this is the first opportunity I'm making. Now, if I did post a previous opportunity, so let's say I already hired an hourly associate, you can create a similar posting by duplicating an opportunity. In this case, we're just going to start with a new one. When you go through the process of hiring an associate, you're going to be able to enter a number of fields here to find the best fit for your firm. So, for example, we're going to be looking for a personal injury expert. Now, you can change this however you see fit. Maybe you want to hire a personal injury remote associate. In this case, you're always going to be hiring an associate virtually, typically doing the back end work for you in this case. Now, we've seen instances where an associate does go into office, but it's very far and few in between. Keep in mind, when you do hire someone, they're usually working in a paraprofessional capacity for you. It can do a lot of the written work for you to delegate. Now, I'm going to go ahead and select any area of a law that would be applicable for hiring this associate. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and select personal injury and litigation, since they're going to be helping me with some litigation matters as well, assuming these cases don't settle. Now, description. This is where you can be really clear on the type of work that you need. I need an associate, and for the sake of this video, we'll keep it brief. This is where you can put in all the specifications on the opportunity that you're posting. So be as clear as possible. If you have any limitations on work, or if you're more flexible on training your associates so they can be really involved with your firm and become integrated into your firm, that's something that's great to add here in this description. Now, for the rest of the fields, I'm going to probably need someone for 6 months or longer. Again, this is going to vary depending on your work. The monthly expectation of hours, this is going to be another area here where how many hours do you have? This is going to allow you to find someone that has that availability every single month. For me, I'm going to say 20 to 40 hours per month. And as you'll see, I didn't put the longest description here for this example, and it's going to go ahead and remind me that I should probably add more information. So we'll send you a reminder if you ever feel like there's anything that might be lacking in your posting. This key area is going to allow you to control how many hours your associate can log. So if I'm going to go up to 40 hours a month of work, that's on average 10 hours of work a week. And if that's something I think I can hand off, I'm going to go ahead and put that. Now, this number multiplied by your hourly rate is going to be the minimum that we need to obtain for your deposit. Now, there is a required $1,000 down for a deposit, but let's say if you're going to be paying your associate $150 an hour at 10 hours per week, that's going to raise the deposit to $1,500. So just keep that in mind as you're filling this information out, and your associate won't be able to log more than 10 hours a week. In this case, I'm going to say I need a mid-level associate, usually for someone that's more mid-level, between, I'd say, anywhere around 5 to 7 years of experience based on what we've seen. Usually that beginning hourly rate that they're looking for is around $120. You can increase it or decrease it as well and get a new post up if you want to lower the rate. But ideally, they're applying based on this rate. So you can always start lower and increase it from there to see if there's anyone that might want to work at the rate that you're posting. Now, if I did have a preference on time, you can put that in here. And I'm going to say no, I don't want the associate barred in a particular state. This can really limit the amount of associates that are available to do work for you. We've seen a lot of great relationships develop cross-jurisdictionally, and this makes sure that you get the best candidates that are available, whether they're in your state or not. A lot of times we find associates work in various states and with a number of attorneys across the US, particularly if they start doing work on the platform. So I'm going to go ahead and select no. And it's always a good recommendation to keep this in mind and to select no so you can see who else might be available to take on this work. Now, I'm not going to have any language requirements in my posting that I'm putting on here. And I'm going to post it to the marketplace. I don't have a team developed yet, and I want my posting to go out to all the associates that are available in our network. So I'm going to go ahead and select marketplace for now. And as you can see, there's an example. So if there is any questions that you have, you can go ahead and request this of the associate. All right, and I'm just putting some example here of what the associate might be able to answer for me to know that they're a qualified candidate to take this on. And I'll go ahead and continue. Anytime as you're working through this process, as you can see, it can be a fairly quick process, but you can always save it as a draft if you want to come back to it and add additional details later on. So right here, you'll be able to see our terms of service. So this just communicates everything that you had already seen when you signed up on the LawClerk platform. Ultimately, you're responsible for the work of the associate and a number of other things here. So of course, feel free to read through that as always. And I'm just going to put my initials and advise that I've read the terms here. And then the second page also goes over how the payment works. Essentially, you're going to be putting down a deposit for the associate. And once you start working with them and they begin logging time, we're going to essentially work as an evergreen retainer where you're going to reload the amount of the associate's time and payment in order to meet that minimum retainer that you're putting down. So all of that information's here. Again, assuming it's sufficient, you continue through and you'll be able to post the opportunity. Now, you're always going to get a reminder for a conflict checklist. Reason for this is, let's say you're working with a client that might have an opposing counsel, and it could be an associate that works with us here at LawClerk. So this is just another step to make sure that your client's information is safe as you are working on different cases. Now, in this case, I'm going to select no and forego updating this information, but it's always recommended that you fill this out if you have an associate that you plan on working with, and if there is key information here that you want to make sure there's no conflicts on. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And then I have my associate opportunity posted. You can always log in at any time and see who applies. So in this case, I don't have any candidates yet, but if I did decide to increase the rate, maybe I'm not seeing candidates that I want to hire just yet, you can increase the rate and see if this increases your opportunities. Usually this is the first place I look if you're not seeing the talent that you'd like to bring on board. And of course, our team is here to help you along the way. So if there's any questions, comments, concerns, or if you even need help finding a new associate, reach out to your advisor at any time. One of the ways you can hire an associate through LawClerk is through our subscription option. Now, we have 3 different ways that you can delegate work. You can hire a remote associate for consistent work, which is going to be through subscription. And that's typically where most of our firms need someone that is ongoing, whether that's part-time or even full-time. We have a few firms that have hired multiple associates to be full-time within their firm, and it works very similar to hiring someone in-house. So to hire a subscription associate, you're going to begin by starting new work. As you begin posting more opportunities and delegating work, you'll be able to see those arrangements down here. But for now, we're going to focus on hiring a new associate. So like I said, with a subscription associate, it is someone that you can hire ongoing, and every single month they're going to be a committed member of your firm, whether it's 30 hours a month, which is the minimum here, or all the way up to 160 hours per month at 40 hours per week. Now, this can vary by firm, and you can update all of the specifications right here in this posting that we're about to create. Now, I'm going to create a new subscription. Let's say I decide to hire multiple associates. You can repost a previous opportunity and just duplicate and copy the details from that posting. It makes it much easier to streamline the process if you want to hire someone that maybe you've worked with before, or you want to hire someone else to do similar work. But for now, let's go ahead and create a new subscription. As you'll see, there's a couple options to do this. Most of our attorneys hire someone to do back-end work for their office. A lot of the written work, complex document review. We have quite a few attorneys that have heavy intake if they do class action suits. So in some cases, you might need the associate to be more integrated by handling clients and doing different meetings, handling hearings and things of that sort, which is available down here. But generally, most of our associates are working in a paraprofessional capacity, doing a lot of the writing and review and research that you don't always have time for. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and select this option. But just know if you need someone to do more work for your firm, you can also hire an associate plus where we will confirm your insurance and make sure that they're covered, and then you're good to go and have them do a lot of the work that you need done. Let's go ahead and hire a regular remote associate and continue from here. This is going to be the page where you can enter all of your details when it comes to hiring someone. So in this area here, you can select every area of law that is applicable to the associate you're hiring. Let's say I handle consumer bankruptcy work. Pretty much anything that applies to this area of law. In some cases, this could cross over into litigation in my case, so I'm going to go ahead and put this here. But you're going to select everything that's applicable for this specific associate and what they might need to do. This area is key to help us find the right fit and send you suggestions for associates that you can hire or even invite to the different opportunities that you post. For the experience level, I'm going to focus on hiring an experienced associate. As you might have seen, this number changed. When you hire someone that is experienced, they're planning to be anywhere between 140 to 160 an hour. And typically our experienced associates are anywhere from 7 to 10 years of experience, sometimes more. You'll be able to see the candidates who are available and what their experience is as you start reviewing them for this posting. So for now, I'm going to start at 145, and if I'm not seeing who I want, then I can always increase it. You can always change this as you go and increase the rate. Just be aware that you can't lower the rate later on because the associates are posting based on the rate that you have on your posting. So I'm actually going to bring this to 150, which is probably more realistic for an experienced associate on the site. Again, if I'm not seeing this, I might change this to 110, to 160 and see who I can find and who I might be able to hire. Now, I need someone more consistently, but not full-time, so I'm going to hire someone for about 60 hours a month. This seems really reasonable with the work that I have, and I don't really need someone full-time. And I would like to ideally hire someone within 1 to 2 weeks. We have had those that need to hire someone immediately, and sometimes even have allowed attorneys to start working with someone the same day. So if you need this, it's definitely doable. Now I'm going to post this opportunity to the marketplace. As I start finding associates that I've worked with before or that I like working with, I'll be able to add them to other opportunities in the future. But for now, we're going to see who's available in the entire network. Now, as you'll see, I'm just entering some information here about a potential candidate that I'd like to work with. So I just put in a few key qualities, as you can see, for an ideal candidate. So in some cases, quite a few times I've heard attorneys say that they want someone who's organized, has really thorough attention to detail. There's a number of things that can make your ideal candidate ideal for you and your firm. So go ahead and change this based on what it is that's most important to you. Now, when you're hiring someone, depending on what you like them to do, perhaps in this case, I would like someone to do research. And for the sake of this posting, I'm keeping this short, but typically something that is detailed, similar to what you might post on a regular job board, is what you can plug right into these fields here. So again, I'm keeping this short, but you get the idea. You can update this depending on whatever needs you might have the associate doing. Now, let's say if you're posting an opportunity for someone as a full associate or under the associate plus option, and maybe you want someone to go to trial here and there, but it's not a primary focus for your firm, make sure to note that. A lot of times when you're hiring someone as an associate plus and they are more involved with some of the day-to-day operations that might be happening in your firm, they're typically going to want a higher rate. So let's say if you're posting something and you're limited on the rate that you can offer, or whatever it is, just keep in mind they typically want to make more if they're doing appearances. But if you only need appearances done maybe 10% of the time, and that's not a common need for your firm, if you specify that here, again, it's just going to allow you to further align with the needs that you have and with the associates that are available to meet all of those needs. So for communication style, we recommend that you usually meet every week or so with your associates since they are working with you more consistently. But how often is up to you. So depending on what might work best, I'm going to say I need a lot of collaboration and communication, but we don't need to talk every single day. And typically, let's say my firm does regular meetings with the team. So we might just include them in those video conferences so that everyone can chat more and get to know this new person. Usually within 48 hours might be a good response time. And it's something that we see most commonly, but if you need someone that is super responsive and you have a lot of tight deadlines and last minute work to send out, make sure to update this accordingly. Now we're going to provide some training. Typically, there is a lot of onboarding that's done within the first few weeks. So again, keep this in mind as someone's starting up within your firm. Not everyone's going to know exactly how you want things right away. So you're going to have to provide some training, but some firms want to offer more training than others. So again, totally up to you with how you decide to set your training expectations. If you use certain tools to manage your cases, you can select that here too. So there's a number of tools that are available that are in our system that you can select as you're looking to hire an associate. For this, I'm going to say that I use Clio. And then time zone, I don't really have a preference on time zone or language. And then any other requirements or qualifications that might stand out to you. Maybe you want the associate to have been a previous law clerk for a judge in their state. Whatever it is that is, again, most helpful, make sure to add that here. And then are there any different questions that you might have to ask them as well? For example, how many trials have you first or second chaired? In this case, I'm going to say, so again, another quick, short, sweet example of how you can list the information that you want provided by the different applicants as they come in. Now, if I wanted to save this and come back to it, you can by saving as a draft. For now, we're going to go ahead and continue by posting this opportunity to the website. You're going to be taking a look at a couple additional screens, such as our non-circumvention agreement. Before moving on, you're going to see a couple of additional screens, such as our non-circumvention agreement. I'm going to go ahead and sign this here and state that I've read and agreed to the foregoing terms. And you'll have an opportunity to read these every single time you post a new opportunity and when you begin working with the new associate. Now I'm done. I've successfully posted a subscription associate opportunity, and now I can start looking at candidates. Posting a new opportunity to the LAWCLERK platform can be a process that is complex and can really vary by firm to firm. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to use your dedicated LAWCLERK advisor and reach out to our team anytime. We're happy to guide you through the process. There's a few easy ways to find talent on the LawClerk platform, whether you're posting an opportunity and would like to search for candidates yourself, or if you haven't posted an opportunity yet, you can go directly to our directory to find someone that might be a good fit for what you're hiring for. So we're going to go ahead and talk about those ways. So first, when you log into your dashboard, you'll see here, this is any type of work that I've posted and associates that I've hired. You can take a look at the opportunities. Clearly, in this case, I have a few things that are posted to the platform. So we'll go back to those later. When you first log into your dashboard, you're going to have a quick menu to your left. Now, if you don't see this, there's a little arrow here that you can open up the side view, and you can go ahead and search through directory. Directory is something that we launched recently in 2023, so it is relatively new, and now you can go ahead and take a look at all of the potential candidates that might fit the specifics for the parameters that you set. For example, if I wanted to find someone that focuses on appellate, as you can see there's a couple here, I'm going to just select that area of law, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at those that might have 5 years of work. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at those that have at least 5 years of experience within this field. Now, when it comes to the preferred hourly rate, all of the rates that you see here on the posting are going to be what the associate prefers to make. And so you can update your rate according to either these candidates if you're sending them an opportunity. But of course, if they apply, that means they're interested in the rate that you set. So keep this in mind if you're looking for associates. It's not always going to be correlated to what they're applying for if you already have a posting. For this specific example, I'm going to take a look at those that prefer the rate of, let's say, $90 an hour up to $120. This is about an entry level towards a mid-level associate typically on the platform. And I would like to see those that have about 50 hours of availability per month. So what we'll do is go ahead and sort to see who's the best fit. So for example, this associate here is at the top of the list. This means that they're going to be the best possible fit based on the parameters I entered here. So let's say you have something posted to the website and you would like to invite this associate to an opportunity. You can go ahead and invite this person to apply. And I could select any one of my posted opportunities. I have a few subscriptions posted and a few hourly associate options posted. So I can invite this person to any of these opportunities, or I can create a new one. Another way to view these associates before deciding if you want to invite them to apply is to view their full profile. So based on the parameters I selected, you can take a look at the associates that are available to work for you based on these specifics, and it's going to sort them in order based upon total years, their preferred rate, availability, a number of factors. But we're not going to exclude anyone from this list either, so that way you can see all the potential candidates. Keep in mind, we have quite a few attorneys on the platform, well over 12,000 attorneys on the platform in general, but not all of them have opted into this directory. So though this is a really great view of candidates, keep in mind, it's not all of those that are available or might be applying to your opportunity. Now, if you wanted to invite someone to apply, you can. If you go right here, you can invite them to an existing opportunity, whether an hourly opportunity or one of the subscriptions that I've actually already posted. And if you can see, I actually invited this person to a couple opportunities already. So you can create something new or invite them to something that's been created. Another way to decide if you want to move forward with the candidate is to click on their full profile. When you do this, you'll be able to see any previous experience they've had on the platform, what those ratings were, if the hiring attorney left a rating on their experience previously, and you can also take a look at all of their information, whether it's their professional bio, their work preference and availability, what areas they practice in, and their overall experience. So you can take a look at the information that's typically available on their resume. And then looking at the comments in more detail, if there was comments left by the hiring attorney, you'll be able to see all of this here. Now, last but not least, you can also see writing samples for the associates. So you can take a look and download anything that's available for them. And then of course, any specialized information such as published work, speaking engagements, which we do see quite often with our talent here, you'll be able to view all of that information. So this is how the directory works. And of course, if you did want to invite someone to apply to something, you can take a look at their resume and their full profile. We're going to go ahead and go back to the main dashboard though, because we're not going to use the directory today. The other way to view candidates and invite them to a posting is to take a look at one of your existing posts to find who's available. So for example, we'll take a look at a recent subscription that I posted on my dashboard. I went ahead and posted this already with the specific needs that I have for the firm. Here's a brief summary of the opportunity that I posted. And as you can see, I don't have any candidates that applied just yet. So there's a couple ways you can go about exploring more candidates. You can either go to the directory from here, same as we viewed recently, right here on the left side of your navigation. And then you can also go to Candidates to Consider. This Candidates to Consider tab takes you to candidates that might be a good fit to your opportunity and all of the parameters that you entered, such as practice area, availability for hours, your ideal rate. That's going to send you a list through our algorithmic matchmaking to show you those who might be available or might be a good fit. And from here, you can invite them to your opportunity. In this case, you can see the message just went away, but as you can see, I went ahead and selected this person to apply, and it now shows that they're invited. I'll do the same for this user here. And the invitation was sent. Anytime you post an opportunity, you can take a look at who's available and decide who you might want to work with before you decide working together, or before you even get a new applicant. Of course, if you have any questions on any of these, whether you have a subscription that you need help with, an hourly opportunity, or anything else, feel free to reach out to your dedicated law clerk advisor anytime. Once you decide to hire someone through LawClerk, chatting with an applicant, interviewing, and hiring someone can be relatively easy. You're in control whenever you're posting new work to send to a candidate. In this case, you'll see I have quite a few different opportunities here that I've posted over time. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this hourly associate opportunity that was posted. And as you can see, I have a few different candidates that applied. We'll go ahead and take a look at this. Whether you're communicating through a subscription opportunity or through an hourly associate opportunity, you'll be able to communicate the same way. Whenever you click into that role, you'll see the rate that you selected, the length of engagement, how many hours per month you're going to be delegating, as well as a brief overview of the posted opportunity. Taking a look at some of these candidates, we're going to go ahead and review written. So now I'm taking a look at this associate's profile. Of course, you'll be able to take a deeper look at their profile here. And prior to deciding I want to move forward with this candidate, I can accept them. But if I wanted to arrange an interview beforehand, I'll go ahead and select Chat with Applicant. Now, I've already sent a message to one of the other candidates, so I'll show you what that looks like. Something that looks a little different on this candidate's page is I have the option to chat with the applicant or to start a video interview. This is because I already sent this associate a message to see if they're available to have an interview. Once you shoot them a note, you'll be able to see this message tab here, and this will appear for any new messages that you'll get for an associate. You'll be able to see some interview instructions and how you can best schedule an interview. And then you can also start an interview, which begins a video call with the applicant. So whenever you schedule time, you can begin that conversation right here. Now, let's say I wanted to move forward with this associate. We can go back to their profile and decide I'm going to accept this person, and they can begin working with me through an hourly associate opportunity. So, as you can see, it's relatively easy to communicate with candidates, set up an interview, and hire an associate. Now, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to our dedicated law clerk advisor team. We have a team that works directly with the associates on the platform as well. So, if you ever need assistance, we have a lot of great insight on who might be able to assist you with the work that you need. So, don't hesitate to reach out to your dedicated law clerk advisor anytime, and we're always happy to give you recommendations. Whether you're working with someone in a short term engagement or if you're hiring someone long term for, let's say, full time, we always encourage you to communicate directly with your associate and make sure that you have ongoing meetings. For example, if you're starting off with hiring an hourly associate, which can be really flexible, your work can ebb and flow as you're working together. Typically, for these arrangements, we'd say at least once a month setting an ongoing meeting is really great so that your associate can plan accordingly for when you have work. When you're working with someone through subscription and you're working together more frequently, in this case, 60 hours per month, we recommend setting a meeting at least once a week. This is to make sure, again, that you can set your expectations, make sure that the associate is aware of what time you would like them to log, and really just allow you both to plan accordingly to make sure the work gets done. We want you both to be successful. Working together through all of the products can be fairly similar. When you start working together on a project, for example, you can have access to communicate with your associate or reach out to them. You can send them a message here. You can see what activity has taken place. In this case, we don't have too much information other than the original documents that were completed when you both took on the project. To upload documents, you can do that right here. So if you have any previous templates for them to refer to, any other previous arguments that you might have that they could use, all of that info is helpful to add to this here. If I need to reach out to my associate, you'll be able to click on the photo in the upper right-hand corner, and this helps you see who this associate is and what their contact information is. So if you decide to communicate with your associate via email, if that's more convenient, you can do so. When it comes to the other products we have, subscription and hourly are very similar, so we'll go ahead and take a look at this hourly opportunity here. You can see all of the expectations as far as how many hours you might have per week, what their rate is that you're paying for, how many hours they've logged so far, as well as a few other details regarding those hours. To look at all the time that the associate has logged, which in this case, it would be the 8.2 hours logged this week and this month, I would take a look at the master time record. You can see any time that has been logged for this associate and download any matters as you see fit by going to this tab here. Going back into the main page for an hourly associate or subscription opportunity, you'll be able to create matters to manage your clients. Your associate logs time in order to get the correct payment each week. Now, when it comes to a general matter, let's say if you're sending your work to your associate directly and using your own case management system, they would still need to log their time. So if they did decide to do this and you decided to have them log everything in one area, then you can go ahead and make sure that you can access these time records from here. As you can see, everything this associate has logged so far, including when the services were rendered, how long they were actually doing the work, and what that work was, you can take a look at whatever was happening in this specific matter. Now, if you decide to manage your associate's time by splitting up different matters, you can. We recommend creating a different matter dependent upon the client. So for example, this could say Jane Doe file or whatever it is. If you're working on an ongoing case, this usually helps both of you manage what's going on. And as you can see, it is enabled right now, meaning that this associate can actively go in and see whatever work that you've uploaded and can log their time to this specific matter if you wanted to manage your caseload this way. If we were no longer needing this file anymore and all the work was completed, you can go ahead and disable it and they know it's something that they don't necessarily need to pay attention to. In this case, we're going to keep it enabled and take a look at the opportunity. So from here, you can communicate the same way as you would a project or a subscription. You can send messages to your associate. You can begin a meeting, which starts a video chat. You can access your documents library by taking a look at what has been uploaded. In this case, we cleared a conflict checklist so far, so it's fairly minimal. And I can upload additional documents for them to review. Under this matter, you could see that there was 5 hours uploaded so far. So if I wanted to take a deeper look at what hours have been logged, what for, and what the associate actually did, I can do that by going to your time record. You can access your time records within each matter that you create. And if you wanted to have an overall picture of the total time that your associate has logged, by visiting this hourly opportunity page, you can access the master time record. Of course, if you have any questions, or if you're ever not quite sure what the associate is logging, we encourage you to communicate with them. Make sure, again, that you both are clear and on the same page as far as what you want them to log time for, if it's client phone calls or emails, or even if it's a regular meeting with you. For those ongoing meetings I talked about, they don't need to be too long, but if you are going to have vast conversations about the work, it might be good for you to chat about, is that something that they should log or not? Once you're on the same page, that should make everything run smoothly and you can effectively manage your working relationship. Of course, if you did have any questions, you can reach out to your dedicated law clerk advisor anytime, and we're more than happy to help.